Hello everybody, today's case study will be on the Beverly Hills Supper Club fire. This is for Fire 103 and our group consists of Thomas Warren and myself, Alex No. The Beverly Hills nightclub was originally built in the 1930s and changed hands multiple times before opening in 1971. The nightclub was located in Southgate, Kentucky, just outside of Cincinnati. The fire would be considered the third deadliest nightclub fire in all of U.S. history. The nightclub was famous for illegal gambling and hosting heads of the mob in Cincinnati, as well as being a destination for entertainment, having entertainers fly out from New York, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas. The club had many additions added to it, creating a non-linear complex with lots of rooms and limited exits. On the night of May 28, 1977, the club was way over capacity, with 3,000 people inside the club when the fire had started. It killed a total of 165 and injured another 200. Around 8:45 to 8:50, a fire was discovered in the Zebra Room by Beverly Hills Club employees. It was considered electrical in origin. Fire marshal investigation determined the cause to be due to faulty wiring, but most disagree and think the mob has started the fire. Employees sounded the alarm, but patrons inside the cabaret room were never notified. The fire continued to burn within concealed spaces within the Zebra Room. Eventually, a busboy would make the announcement to patrons in the cabaret room. They would begin to evacuate orderly. However, the Zebra Room would eventually burst into flames, sending smoke, debris, and fire towards the cabaret room. As the cabaret room began to catch on fire, patrons began to panic and rush towards the exit, blocking them. Other exits would be blocked by the spread of the fire. The fire would eventually spread throughout the building, and at around 11:30, personnel had been ordered outside of the building. At midnight, the building would eventually explode. Inside the Beverly Hills fire, 165 people died. Firefighters found piles of victims in front of the exits as they were trying to exit the building. Smoke inhalation and burns killed or injured all 365 people. The deaths and injuries were due to overcrowding of the club. With 3,000 people inside the club, this was far over the capacity. Inadequate exits prohibited people from exiting the building, causing them to be trampled and inhale smoke. Some of the exits that were provided were locked for unknown reasons, resulting in more casualties. The club did not have fire sprinklers or firewalls. Some type of fire suppressing device would have limited the overall number of casualties in the fire. People inside the Zebra Room also report seeing someone starting the fire. Many people at the time thought that the fire was started by the mob in the Kentucky area. Supposed threats were given if anyone talked about the fire, how the fire may have started, or any suspicion regarding the fire. The Supper Club was a popular illegal gambling spot and was ran by the Cleveland Syndicate. With illegal gambling and heads of the mob frequenting the club, arson could have definitely been the start of the fire. To this day, 40 years later, many people want to reopen the case. With new info coming out, they believe a reinvestigation is to take place. Dave Ross, a worker at the Beverly Hills Club at the time, believes he has the evidence that arson had occurred. To this day, the Kentucky State Police have no intention of reopening the case. So in conclusion, the Beverly Hills Supper Club fire is considered one of the deadliest nightclub fires in all of U.S. history. It occurred on May 28th of 1977. The fire, which started out in concealed areas of the Zebra Room, would eventually spread over to cabaret where patrons were trying to evacuate at the time, trapping them within the room. Inside the club, there was no fire sprinklers. The addition of sprinklers would have suppressed the fire long enough for people to get out, limiting the number of victims and overall spread of the fire. And FPA 13 regulates fire sprinklers. The club was large and very spread out, making it difficult for firefighters to effectively target the seat of the fire and extinguish the blaze. The fire moved very quickly through the club and would eventually claim 165 lives and injure 200 more people. Through investigation, the origins of the fire are said to be electrical. However, to this day, many people believe that the mob was involved or arson occurred on that night. To this day, 40 years later, many people believe a reinvestigation should take place.